So Google up 8% after hours today after they just reported amazing quarterly earnings report, and the bigger bombshell announced a 20-to-1 stock split. I think that this is absolutely going to propel the stock higher. Even though stock split doesn't change anything, there's definitely a psychological effect it has on investors. Everyone's going to try and get in because they see it as cheaper, and it is for many. It becomes more affordable. You know, buying one share of Google for $3,000 versus $100, let's say. There are definitely psychological effects. So even though it doesn't change anything fundamental about the business, this is a company I've had on my watch list for quite some time, and I've been waiting for a good time to get in. You know, that's the problem with these big tech companies. You're never going to get in at a discount besides the occasional crash. I think I'm finally going to pull the trigger on this one. We're going to briefly look at their earnings report here, give you guys my thoughts on that. And I think I'm going to be moving some money from a couple other stocks I own into Google. I don't want to use my cash. I'm trying to build up a cash position. So I think that's the best way to play this one, because this is definitely going to keep going up as people realize they'll be able to buy some cheap Google shares. All right, so more importantly, let's look at their Q4 revenues. And just for the year, absolutely insane. Revenue increased 41% year over year. That's after it increased 13% in 2020. And that comes off a big increase, you know, they had in 2020 was no small year either. But the fact that a company of this size can just continue to grow at this rate is astounding. And I don't think they're going to slow down, because when we look at their different segments here, you know, obviously Google search we know is the main driver. Okay. And that actually grew quite a bit too. If we look quarter over quarter from 2020 to 2021 there, Google search brought in 43 billion in revenue as opposed to almost 32 billion on Q4 of last year. But the ones that really interest me more is, you know, the YouTube revenue is just insane. If we annualize this, let's just say for the year, maybe they brought in 32 billion of revenue from YouTube alone. I mean, that's more than many companies bring in a year. They're doing that just from their YouTube segment. And when you think about it, I know I personally watch a lot of YouTube. Like, I pay for YouTube Premium because I get more value out of it than I do watching cable. I find YouTube creators to be much more interesting, and this is a trend that's just going to continue to grow as we move to this creator economy where people would rather watch, you know, people who on YouTube are keeping it real with them. I mean, just think about, there's been all this controversy around Joe Rogan. Well, however you feel about him, I mean, the reality is the guy is bigger than Fox News and CNN combined. He has a larger audience. So we're already seeing this shift from cable and the traditional media outlets or content providers to this kind of more free and equal playing field that I think things like YouTube and Spotify, you know, podcasting, all these things have created. But YouTube especially is a very interesting one, because I think you're going to just continue to see YouTube continue to grow in engagement. People are more into this than watching TV. So there's some strong growth built into this company for years to come. They're one of the best companies and they're not going anywhere. I have been wanting to invest in Google for many, many reasons, but I've been trying to, you know, consolidate my portfolio and cut down on positions, not add new ones. But I may have to make the exception here. You get so much with Google, obviously, even beyond the search and YouTube ads. They're doing a lot with cloud. I mean, you even get some exposure to SpaceX. Google and Fidelity bought $1 billion of SpaceX in 2015 in exchange for 8.33% of the company at that point. So that has only grown since then. You know, there's just a lot. There's a lot to be excited for here. Great management. So the stock split is going to go into effect on July 1st, 2022. So here's how the stock split is going to work. However many shares you own of Google as of July 1st, 2022, that is the record date. So however many shares you own then will determine how many shares you will receive on July 15th, 2022. So it's going to split 20 for 1. So every 1 share of Google you have will become 20. And just off the top line here, the CEO said, our deep investment in AI technologies continue to drive extraordinary and helpful experiences for people and businesses across our most important products. I mean, Google's got their hand in many of these businesses of the future that we're really just at the beginning for, AI being a big one, as well as cloud. These are the industries that are going to drive the new economy. Q4 saw ongoing strong growth in our advertising business, which helped millions of businesses thrive and find new customers. Even a quarterly sales record for our Pixel phones despite supply constraints, and the cloud segment continues to grow strongly. Fourth quarter revenue of $75 billion, up 32% year over year. Again, I mean, we're looking at a company with a market cap of almost $2 trillion. It probably will get to $2 trillion, I would think, off the news of this fantastic quarter combined with the stock split. $2 trillion company to be growing at this rate is just really incredible. I think I'm going to finally have to pull the trigger, buy some Google. I think I'm going to sell a couple of my other positions or trim them down at least to. So let me know what you guys think of Google as a company and all this recent news. Are you buying it? Why or why not? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop me a comment below. This is Vinny from the Investment Club, and I'll see you next time.